Switch me on.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh!
Weekend order.
Here I come.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I think he can hear you.
Don't move. It won't hurt you. What happened? Are you okay?
Fine.
Behold, my stuff.
Weekend order.
Come to the coast, we get together, have a few laughs.
Hello and welcome to Weekend Harder. I am R2, joined by...
I'm Beard of Liberty.
And we are short a man tonight. JT is off. He's got some stuff going on, but we're looking forward to tonight. We've got a great guest. How have you been?
You know, not my best week, but not my worst week either.
Well, that's good.
And I'm capping it off with this. I get to hang out with a buddy.
Oh, you talking about me or you talking about our guest?
I'll let y'all fight it out.
Oh, okay.
Let's
No
bring in
problem.
the Thunderdome.
Well, I will say I haven't had to push all the buttons and set everything up in quite a while. I've been having all
JT's got you spoiled.
I know. I've had all kinds of trouble. I had a bunch of tweets lined up and they're gone. I had them scheduled out and I'm I don't know why they're missing. I don't know what I did wrong, but I really have dropped the ball. But with that said, let's bring on our wonderful guest. I think this is the second time she's been on the show. We're thrilled to have her back. We got Untamed Mando. How you doing?
What's up? I'm back. I'm here. Yeah, I think it was either here. Yeah, it was here. I was I've been on JT's channel and here before, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you came on the weekend after you and I had met up for the comic book convention out here.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Mando and I live about half an hour away from each other, so we're pretty close. And that was a lot of fun. But no, it is great to have you back. I know you've had a busy night. You were streaming earlier. You were doing your tabletop gaming, correct?
Yep, I was rolling the dice, and some crazy things happened, and I was not responsible for them, thankfully.
Oh my!
This time.
Well, that sounds scandalous. Well, if you're new to the channel, definitely check out the description. You can find links to our guests. We've got links to Mando's channel and her Twitter, or X, however you want to call it these days. But be sure to give her a subscribe over there. She does a lot of good content. And yeah, I've watched a few times, and you guys always seem like you're having fun, but I don't know what's going on either. So
we don't know either. It's
okay.
Fine. We're just
Well,
wait, what are we supposed to be doing? I have no idea. Okay, let's just go for it.
It's not just me then. All right. Fake it till you make it, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
That's what I do every time I'm on camera.
Exactly. We don't really know what we're doing here. We just have fun. But I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I kind of feel like entertainment wise and pop culture wise, it was kind of somewhat light this week on news and topics, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I still think we're going to have fun with what we have to talk about. I'm certainly interested about game news later tonight with Beard here, because I hear everybody talking about it. I don't know what the heck is going on. So.
I just want to make sure you really enunciate the M in game news.
Why? What did I say?
I just
Gay
want.
news?
I mean,
It just. You didn't say that, but I guarantee somebody heard it. I want to make game
okay. Well,
news.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, gay
Beards.
news
Beards.
isn't
You mean
that bad.
when I specify that it's beards? Gay news.
Look, I know I'm popular with the dudes. Always have been. I won't deny it. You know, it's flattering. Like both sides like me. I'm okay with that.
Well, that's
I only
a good
like
way.
one
you've
side,
got
though.
you've got Joker voice just wrapped around your fingers.
Oh man, I do this and that man just swoons.
Yup,
Oh,
he
where
just
did they
doesn't know
go?
what to
Here.
do with himself.
Yeah, speaking of Joker voice, I see you guys do this all the time.
Of course, the Scissor family.
Why is everybody so much littler? No.
I mean, hold on,
It's
I
not
make
how
up for
big the scissors
small-
are. It's
I
how
make up
you
for
scissor.
small- with having multiple scissors. That's how I make up for it. Do you know
the
how that came about?
No, you got to tell me now because I don't.
So back when Roman, Joker, Vex, and I were on Roman's channel talking about The Last of Us, of course we were talking about the scene with the non-scissoring, the opposite of scissoring, and then we're like
The hammering?
No, we were talking about the
Oh no, he put too many exclamation points. He got timed out.
oh no.
Sorry, go ahead.
5 minutes, JV, then you can talk again.
We of course know that Ellie was scissoring with others, and so we were just like it started from this. So every time we talk about Ellie, we'd actually bring in actual scissors, and so Vex, Joker, and I are known as the Scissor family now, and we bring in more people all the time.
It's now the Scissor Army.
Yes,
I saw
and
you guys
it's Roman's fault because he brought us together in the first place.
Gotcha. Well, we always blame Roman. Yeah, I always see you guys playing with scissors, and then one day I was looking in my garage and I'm like, hey, look at these giant scissors. I'm gonna have to show them off to everybody.
Yes. Welcome
So,
to the Scissor
I-
family. We
I'm
are
not gonna lie.
honored.
I am a little worried with Beard because I'm just waiting for the day he actually gets to. Either that, or somebody's gonna clip their earbuds.
I've worried about that a couple of times before, but I have a couple of times on Roman's stream. We're doing the scissor thing, and then after everybody kind of calms down, I just do this and see if anybody freaks out in the chat.
I've seen it.
Usually, if Squeak Mouse is in the chat, she'll just like type Beard. No,
I was gonna say everybody's ears are burning. You guys mentioned somebody, and they
oh
pop
my
up.
god, it's Squeaka.
There she is, Squeaka Mouse. Thank you for being
Well,
here.
also, like, she is my prison lover, so she has to show up where I am.
Speaking of scissors.
Yep.
Exactly.
Don't ask. We just need to move on before Mando starts misbehaving.
Oh no.
I'll be good.
Well,
This isn't Roman's
She
channel.
doesn't have the big dice in her hand, so I guess we're okay.
I mean, this is Weekend Harder, so it's a little less
yeah,
family friendly. So
it is.
we
true,
tolerate
and,
some misbehaving.
Okay,
and,
so I can do some tamed flirting with the Squeaka.
Sure, there you go. Well, before we'll jump into it, we'll say hello to a few other folks that have stopped by. Ubaldo's here. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. And of course, I have my wife. She's watching downstairs. And I did give a little Spidey a hard time. You're gonna pop in and say hello, and he's like, "I'm busy playing with my friends online." I was like, "Ah, thanks."
Does
I'm
he,
no
did
longer
he ever
important.
put up that amazing Mandalorian flag I gave him?
We still have not found a spot for it. We have it, but we're trying to. We have to like clear
it's
some.
giant.
We have to clear some space somewhere. I was gonna say it's gonna go in there in his room, and if we just can't find it, then you'll be honored with. I've got that blank spot there. He comes up here, plays video games, so it'll find a good home eventually. But we're trying to put it in there. But yes, we do have it all folded up in the closet for now. And then he, like I said, he's got some stuff going on. He's spending some time with the family tonight. But yes, we are 3 subs away from 400. So if you're new to the channel, please definitely give us a sub. We're trying to hit that 400 number. So we are like going an inch at a time, I feel like, with the subs right now, trying to get to this milestone.
And if you're already subbed, just share it out there. Shill for after the weekend.
Yes,
do it.
And
I do it.
As JT says, LFG.
That's right.
Which
will always be looking for Groot. I don't care what anybody else says.
Looking for Groot. Definitely. All right. Well, let's get to our topics. First one. This was definitely fun when they announced this. And that is The Mummy came back this weekend to celebrate its 25th anniversary. If you have not seen it,
I can't believe it's that old.
I know.
This is a phenomenal movie. If you've never watched it, which I know there are people out there, which makes me feel old, that have not seen it. Did either of you two get to see this in the theater when it came out?
I don't think I did.
Oh,
I first saw it on DVD.
My dad took me to see it. And I remember it was just it was such a good movie. And then I remember when it came out on DVD. This was still pretty early in like the day and age of DVD, right at the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, and prior to everybody like getting most of their stuff on ordering it on Amazon. It was Real.com. Amazon bought them, but it was like the cheapest place to get DVDs, and I remember me and my brother ordered it, and I think we got it like 2 or 3 days early before it was supposed to be released. They would send stuff out early.
Wow.
And being like so thrilled because movies came out on Wednesdays, and like you'd get it on Monday, and it's like I gotta watch it 2 days before everybody else. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a classic. It is one of the greats.
It is. Sadly, this was one though that the sequels didn't hold up, didn't do it justice, unfortunately.
If I had been paying attention to movie news, I would have picked this for our Monday movie instead of what I did, but oh well.
Well, we have reviewed it on After the Weekend already.
Oh, so. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I get a pass.
You get a pass there. It's on the list already, but yeah, it is still showing this weekend. I don't know if any theaters will continue that. Hopefully they do. There's a little bit of me where I am tempted tomorrow to like, hey everybody, let's go watch The Mummy, because it would be a blast again to see it in the theater.
25 years.
Yeah.
I was what, 15? Yeah, I think if my math is right, I think I was 15 when it came out.
I was a baby.
Yeah. I mean, I was 15 when it came out too. I had to stop and check on that. Welcome back, JV. But yeah, no, phenomenal. But what's funny is while I was looking this up and even checking to see if any of the theaters near me was showing it, there was another movie that popped up. Hang on, let me get stuff ready here. That I was shocked that also has an anniversary coming up, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this. And judging from you guys, I don't think you were even aware of this. Where we go? Alien is back in the theaters for its 45th anniversary.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I did hear something about that in passing.
But it doesn't make any sense because it's technically its 45th anniversary wouldn't be until June 22nd. So I'm not sure why they picked April for it.
I mean, unless they're going to let it run for 3 months, that's a weird choice.
It kind of made it sound like really it was just going to be for the weekend, but yeah, maybe it will run longer for it. But I think with this has more to do with the upcoming Alien Romulus film that's coming out.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
And it's essentially the director's cut. There's 9 extra minutes in there, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen that cut of the film.
So I don't think anybody would be surprised to hear that I've never actually watched the entirety of this film.
You're kidding! This is classic, man.
I know
How
it
come?
is. I know it is.
How have you not watched this entire film before?
I don't know. I just never got around to it. Look,
Such
you're
a good
talking to the
film.
guy who had also never seen Ferris Bueller until we watched it for the show. So
Oh, I know. I still am gonna have the same reaction. So we always do. I'm never just gonna be like, oh, okay. Anyways, still gonna give you a hard time about it, but
I mean, it's just like how I will always be given a hard time for Lions now, because I thought a movie was a horror movie because it scared me, but
wait. What
Yeah.
about? I don't know this one. Lions.
yeah,
we were
so-
doing a horror movie themed show on Roman of the Empire's channel.
Okay.
And everybody's supposed to bring, like 3 or 4 horror movies. And Mando brought
The Ghost in the Darkness, which is a movie about lions killing people in Africa at night.
Yes.
To me,
But
that's
it's not a
scary
horror
movie. It's
Yes.
got gore, it's got blood, it's got guts.
I mean, it's more what you would call a thriller than a horror film. But hey, I can understand it. Hey, have you ever gone to the zoo when they're feeding the lion and the lion's like 10 feet away from you? And it's
It's terrifying.
yeah, and it's like looking you in the eye like I'd rather be going after you than eating whatever that they're feeding me at the moment. All I gotta say is if you slip with that on a live stream, whoever's live stream, it's gonna make it like it's gonna become internet lore.
The
Look,
internet
last
will just implode.
Yeah.
the last time I was clean shaven, I worked at an assisted living facility, and the old ladies there who lived there were always trying to tell me, you need to clean that beard up. You need to clean, you shave it off. You look so much better without it. And so I forget the deal I made with them, and whatever, it worked out. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to cut it here in front of y'all. We made it this big event. And one of the ladies said she wanted to make the first cut, and she had Parkinson's.
Oh,
And
no.
my beard was not this long. It was, I don't know, maybe about this long. And I'm holding out some hair, and she's coming up going towards my face. And I just trusted her. I let her get the first cut and then shaved it off. Those old ladies loved it. But yeah, I'll never forget seeing a pair of scissors, yellow, just like those, coming towards my face, shaking like that.
Oh, that's scary. Wow.
Anyway.
I look happier without you. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. You do everything.
That's a panic smile right there.
I know. I'm like, just don't hit the big red button. That's my big fear.
Yeah, that's the same smile I had when y'all left me to host a show.
Oh, you did great. You were fine. And then you're like, I can't get in. I can't do anything.
I didn't have access. I found a way to work around it.
Yes, you texted us in a panic.
First time hosting streams, you never forget it.
I know.
Ugh.
Well, we're coming up to our main topic of the night. I felt like the big news of the week. This came out on Monday? I want to say this trailer dropped
Early in the week,
so.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
As much as I wish we could share it, the amount of bad language and music.
Yeah, the music alone would
Yes.
Oh,
would
yeah.
get us-
flag you for everything.
would get us taken down. But if you did not see it, yes, the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer dropped. the final trailer.
Finally, we've been waiting for this for years, man.
Yeah.
Yep. And definitely much better than the teaser that we got. I felt like the teaser.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys felt about it when you saw it, but it was a little underwhelming, at least in my opinion. What did you guys think with that first teaser? Mando.
Well, I mean, it was just a teaser, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I wasn't expecting a whole awful lot either. I was just happy to. I'm a big Wolverine fan, and I felt like this is going to be much better. Like, I'm sure this is going to be Hugh Jackman's final time putting on the claws, but I feel like this is going to be a better end movie for him as Wolverine than the Old Man Logan movie.
Yeah.
I
mean, that was a nice send off. I liked it. I liked Logan.
Yeah, I think there were some things that they definitely could have improved. But
sure.
Well, I was gonna say, kind of seeing the TVA in it, that was definitely something that made me feel underwhelming, just because.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed by Loki. That was a big part of Loki that I was like, I do not like this. So that was like, But yeah, seeing this, I mean, I think out of anything that Marvel has put out since, and it's not technically Marvel because it was Sony, but I was going to say the last Spider-Man film. I mean, this is the last time I have been kind of pumped for a Marvel film.
Yeah. I got to say, yeah, I went into this kind of just like, yeah, this looks pretty good and everything. But over on Iron Oxides, the Rogues Gallery, Joker was over there, and I dropped in for a little bit, and that man follows like the numbers and statistics and release dates and producers and he follows all the details way more than I ever could. And he had a few good points that kind of made me think, oh, I hope it's good, but
yeah, I mean, that's really all you kind of can, is hope for the best. Here, I mean, I feel like if the whole TVA storyline is very quick, and doesn't take up a big part of it, I think that'll be a positive.
I mean, I think it may not. The TVA may not be, at least from what I've seen, it may not be a big part, but is an integral part. Because what it looks like is like I think you said that like some of the things that we've seen, such as Ant-Man's corpse, is taken from the actual Old Man Logan story.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Wolverine's
that was
destroyed
the point that
everything.
Yeah. That was I think the point I made like on a stream earlier was like I hope that they're gonna do a lot more of Old Man Logan in this.
What I mean is like they're not hanging around in the TVA a whole lot.
Right.
That's like such a boring setting. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? We last saw Wolverine and Logan, and that was really the kind of grounded portion of Old Man Logan is what we got there. Mm-hmm. This kind of seems like we're going to get the fantastical part of Old Man Logan, at least some of it with, we get to see Pym Falls, right? If you haven't read that story, that's where in his giant man form, Hank Pym got killed in the future, and his bones are just laying there in the desert.
I wonder if we're gonna get the Hulk, like Planet Hulk stuff, because I think in Old Man Logan he does talk to Old Man Hulk.
Yeah, he well, the Hulk clan are kind of the villains of that story. So yeah, you do get that, but there's quite a few, and I've actually got two sites pulled up that kind of both don't show everything in one page. I couldn't find it, but a lot of like the Easter eggs. I mean, there's a lot of Ant-Man references with the high peanut, like Ant-Man called his daughter. And right, you see him come up to Wolverine in the bar, but it opens up with him, too, right? That you're not welcome here, you're not welcome anywhere. It's almost a little reminiscent of right? The first time you see Logan in X-Men, where the guy, they find out he's a mutant and want him to leave. I almost kind of thought it replayed again, but
I've always wondered with his healing factor, can Wolverine actually get drunk? Or does his body just like process everything too quickly?
He can get drunk for short periods of time. He doesn't like, I want to say, I don't think he really gets like hungover or anything. It's kind of like Captain America.
Boy, that must be nice.
Yeah, must be. But I want to say, this is from Loki. This is the Void, but you do get to see the 20th Century Fox logo there, sticking out of the sand. I thought was a pretty good nod.
Yeah, I mean, and it does seem weird to some people who don't know much about Deadpool. But Deadpool's always been about meta humor.
Yeah. But we get that. That was, I thought that was funny to see. Hey, love it. Thanks for coming by. That's just more of the bar, and yeah, it's I think I want to say there's a Canadian flag that you see hanging from there. But yeah, this one right here. Sorry, let me see if I can make that bigger.
Yeah, I don't know what those stones are.
That's what she said. If he was here, he'd be playing that right now. There we go. That's better. And we're not sponsored by Glock, by the way. I
mean, if they want to.
if they want to, I just thought I'd mention that. But yeah, we at first I didn't really kind of pick up on this, but after watching it kind of the second and third time, I realized what those were, being essentially gravestones. So it does sound like we're gonna get, and I don't want to, again, unless you've read Old Man Logan, I certainly don't want to necessarily spoil it for anybody here. But it does seem like we're going to get a potential version of what happens in that storyline to all the other X-Men. And it's a pretty dark thing to have in an MCU film.
I mean, and of course, when you get something really dark, you bring Deadpool in to make light of all of it.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess like I'm hopeful simply because I know how protective Ryan Reynolds is over Deadpool. Like after the first, X-Men Origins movie and stuff, he was like, this is not gonna fly, and so he did his own like Deadpool movies, and I feel like I've been told that he still has quite a bit of control over Deadpool, so that's why I'm kind of like, I think it's gonna be probably better than what we've been getting for sure.
That's gonna make or break this, is how much control he still has, because we know he had basically carte blanche to do whatever he wanted for the first one, and then more people got involved in the second one, and I don't remember how many actually like people or like producers or directors or whatever involved in this one, but the more people and the more studio you get involved in there, the more you kind of lose control of your baby.
He had more control though actually in the second one than he did the first one.
Oh really?
Yes. But at the same time, and even with writing it too. So yeah, I want to say, because I watched a video last week kind of talking about the first two films. I want to say the fact that he got Hugh Jackman back, and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in technically a Disney film, I kind of think he probably had a lot of power, as well as, JB has a good point. It's Disney, Kevin Feige. At the same time, we're going to see a hard R Disney film.
Yeah. I
will say there's kind of part of me that sits really weird with me. I don't know about you guys, but it's just, as much as I'm pumped for this, there's also like a little bit of taintedness there. Being a Disney film.
Yeah. It's one of those things where Disney purchased the rights to something that has like a lot of dark undertones to it. Like when you purchase Marvel comics, there's a lot of messed up things that happen, and honestly, like, they shouldn't have put their hands on it, but they did okay in the beginning.
I kind of go, I think, with how, at least in my opinion, Disney is desperate for a hit. I think that's why they went hard R on this. I think if Disney, if the other films or the majority of the other films that had come out since Endgame had done better and were, commercially more successful and even more successful with fans, I think we probably would have gotten a more watered down Deadpool. But I think with this, I think Disney's is taking more chances here. If I had to guess, that would be my take on it. So
we'll have to see. I hope it's good. I mean, and to his credit, as much as Joker was throwing out things that kind of ruined some of the hope, he did say that he hopes he's wrong. And I think that's true about all of us fans when we're critiquing something, is we don't want to be right about it being bad. We want it to be good.
No, I think we all want to be proven wrong. And, I think it's more of, we're not bracing for the worst now. We just know the worst is going to happen. And if anything, we're just kind of crossing our fingers that it's going to be good, but we're just trying not to kid ourselves. But, I think compared to some of the other films, I don't know if this had any major reshoots on it. Maybe JV knows, but that's kind of something that has happened with all the prior Marvel films that have come out. They have all had major reshoots. Yeah. And I want to say if this one didn't have that, then that's probably a good sign.
Reshoots in general are just kind of becoming the norm for Hollywood because they go into it without a real plan.
Yes.
They shoot on the fly. They shoot for coverage. They don't really storyboard like they used to.
Well, the other thing, or the ideas that they come up with, the fact that when they show them to people and people don't like it, then they have to makeshift something, they have to makeshift it to be better, and it's them throwing some duct tape on it and some paint over it and hoping for the best then, or trying to make something like slightly better that fixes some of the things, it seems like. But it's, the reshoots are always very shoehorned, but yes, getting to see him finally in the yellow suit.
I was so happy. That just makes me happy. Finally seeing Hugh Jackman in the yellow suit.
Yeah. But I would say that's definitely a good sign that there's no, at least it's not been reported or rumored that there's reshoots. Yeah, no, that's, well, I was going to say that's kind of going to throw back to the original Fox films. They did not want those characters to look like the comic book interpretations.
No color whatsoever.
They were all Matrix outfits.
Yep, which was stupid.
But I mean, as long as the story is at least decent in this, it'll be enjoyable, because just the chemistry between those two guys, just like genuinely being honest, good friends, and the pranks they pull on each other. If you've seen any times where one of them's doing like a press junket, the other one will jump in like he's a reporter and ask really awkward questions. You can tell these guys genuinely enjoy each other's company and they're actually good friends. So as long as the story is even okay, this will be an enjoyable film to watch. Good, maybe not still, but enjoyable.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I am hoping for, I'm hoping we see it like at least for 5 minutes, even if we just see it for 60 seconds. I want to see him wearing the cowl. I got to see that once.
I doubt Hugh Jackman would be up for that.
But that's what I'm saying. Just to wear it for a moment and for it to get damaged or he leaves it behind. I don't care. I get not wearing it throughout a whole film.
I'm sorry.
All right. No.
The request has been put in.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'll go one step further and I'll get some scissors in there for him.
Yes, Scissor family.
Here.
All right.
I was gonna say here, if do it now and then I can gif it later.
Yeah.
Everybody doing it. I know, but I want to see it on him. Like I said, even if it's for 60 seconds, like, because again, it sounds like we might see some versions of Wolverine through this. He may not, just see you, JV. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
I mean, as long as it's a real cowl and not a CG thing like they did with Thor.
Yes. Well, even like in the first Thor film, we got him with the helmet for.
Yes, but I'm talking about the most recent one when they don't actually want to make anything.
But what I'm saying is, in the first one, though, we got it just for a scene, and it was great. The fact we got to just see him with that, it was cool to see, and I was thrilled with that. And the fact he didn't have it on the rest of the time, I was like, I could care less. It's the same thing. It's like, just want to see it once on him. I'm like, if you were going this far to put him in a yellow outfit, put a cowl on him. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That and I'm not. Oh, go ahead.
Tim's talk here. Tim said maybe put the cowl on, say it looks ridiculous, and throw it off. I mean, that could also play into. I mean, because the first behind the scenes shot we've seen of the yellow suit, he had full long sleeves. So maybe at some point he just says, "This is stupid," and like tears the sleeves off and throws the cowl away or something like that. It's fine, because there are certain things that work in comics and in cartoons that definitely don't in live action, and I'm okay with that.
Well, in trailers too, we see a lot of times where we don't see the full picture. They'll have something different too. So, no, I was gonna say, there is, as much as I like the gold Desert Eagles, they're cool looking. At the same time, I'm like, Desert Eagles are stupid. He should have much better handguns than that.
Glocks.
At least for capacity's sake.
I'm just like 10mm DeadPool. Come on.
Glocks.
Oh yeah.
At this point, DeadPool. But I get they're giant hand cannons. They look good. And this scene too has got some additional Easter eggs in there. I want to say they come down. We get another nod.
Oh yeah, because that sign behind them is something about
there's actually two signs.
Because there's one about like shoes or whatever.
Yes.
And it's referencing the Deadpool creator, who apparently is famous for being incapable of drawing feet properly.
Yeah. Rob Liefeld is not good at feet. But no, the first one is actually Copperhead's. Copperhead is a Captain America villain. And I saw that and like nobody brought that up at all. And I was like, hey, that's not really a Wolverine villain, but I'm like, that's an Avengers villain at least. So I thought that was cool to see. And then I think here we get the next one. Yes. Liefeld's just feet. Yes, Rob Liefeld is terrible at drawing feet. Loves to draw lots of pouches and is not good at proportions. I've seen some of the
examples of his feet drawings, and boy, are they! Oh,
he and too, like a lot of his bodies are, it's like really big torsos and shoulders, and then like little tiny like dainty legs. It's almost like seeing like when like kids are on like the shoulder of each other, That's how that his artwork looks sometimes.
Was he was he part of that like early 90s like overly bulky like the early Cable designs?
Yes, all the pouches and everything.
Okay, yeah.
He was very big on that. I am not too familiar with this actress or character. She played I want to say Princess Diana in a series called The Crown. She looks very much like Princess Diana, but I looked her up because I'm like, what does this lady look like? And I was like, wow, she actually looks better bald. That's all I'm gonna say. But she's playing a variation, or it's another timeline's version of Professor X or his sister, who's evil.
So I think in the comics, Cassandra Nova, because I did look into this a little bit. I don't have all the details, but they were twins in the womb, but like her body died or didn't develop, but her mind was so strong it existed on the astral plane for years and years until she could like manifest a body for herself. And she's definitely not as good looking in the comics as this actress is. She's more kind of,
She looks like the puppet master.
yeah, but she's basically Professor X, but potentially stronger. I don't know.
And evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I'll say this because I'm not familiar with the character, and part of me I'm kind of like, I'm like, I am not excited about this part just because I don't know who this is. I'm not familiar with the actress, but hopefully she does a good job. We'll see. This is kind of one of the things where I go like, this may be a weak point for it, but again, just because just seeing Deadpool and Wolverine together, that's tough to top. So that's where I kind of go like villain wise. It's just like they couldn't have got something better. Like, I don't know, do Omega Red.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like just somebody a little bit more iconic. And somebody that I kind of feel like at least if I mean, because Omega Red's been is tough for Wolverine to fight on his own. So I mean, even him having Deadpool with him, you know, that's kind of the only thing there where I'm just like, I wish they kind of went with somebody different. But you know what? Again, it's one of those things. I hope she does a good job. I hope she's, you know, got a lot of charisma and, you know, like not trying to copy Loki, but a villain like that. You know, if she can pull off that, you know, that is great. This is another.
I'm assuming they went with her because they were trying to find somebody that was powerful enough to not to dip into Old Man Logan stuff. But if I remember correctly, the original story is Mysterio was like the catalyst, and
I was going to say it ties into potentially what all those graves are doing there.
Yeah, see, I'm not getting into that. So like. I think they wanted to go with something that was a little bit more influential than just some guy who was good at tricks.
Yeah, and I you know, kind of when I read about that and everything, it's like, okay, that I can kind of see why they probably picked her, as well as not going with Mysterio, because I think if they had Mysterio be the main villain, that would have been too weak as well.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been fitting for this
Magneto's
story.
always available.
Sure, that's true. We see Eliath is back from the Void and Loki, which I didn't really care about when I saw this. It's like
there are theories floating out there that Renslayer is going to come back. She's going to like have like either taken over him, like possessed him, or made a deal with him. I don't know. It's Loki stuff. I don't really care. And I even tried to defend certain parts of Loki, and I still don't care.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And then yes, we get Ant-Man skeleton, which when I saw that I was like, holy crap, is that dead Ant-Man that I ever saw?
I mean, if that's your office, I don't care how long he's been out there, it's still gonna stink.
I like how you're like, I
can't believe them teeth are still up in that head.
And then I think in the next picture we get some more Easter eggs that pop out with that photograph there. But yeah, that's a nod to definitely the Old Man Logan comic, and
for sure,
and Pym Falls. I almost said Pin.
Although technically this would be Lang Falls.
Yeah. Well, that still, we don't know which variation that is, but
good point.
And and the down below, the people standing around it, we actually can see Lady Deathstrike, Azazel, Nightcrawler's dad, Toad is right there, and then
never thought I'd see Toad on the big screen for real though.
Costello or Castillo. I'm trying to think of what her name was. She was, yeah, from the Morlocks. And then I am not sure who that guy's supposed to be. I don't know if anybody has figured it out. The next, I think I do have a photo of it. The next one, it looks like there's Pyro, and then I forget who else they said. It's not somebody I'm familiar with. Yeah, there's definitely
they
a
said Pyro is coming back.
Yeah, there's a Mad Max scene here.
Yeah, I assume this is at the once they get pruned or whatever, and they're just salvaging vehicles trying to travel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, it's one of those things. It's like I don't know who that is though. That could be Wade. That could be just somebody, and they're inside the tank. Who knows? So, but yeah, it was definitely very Mad Max esque. I was like, "Where's the guy playing guitar?" Now, I saw some really good high capture screens on some breakdown videos, but we see this car, and a lot of people are going, "It's the Red Skull," but it's got a Tony Stark look to it. And can I switch tabs here? No, I cannot. I was gonna say I was able to find a good picture of it. Sorry, I gotta do this again. And I'll see if I can blow this up a little bit bigger. Oops, clicking on the wrong thing.
Well, if you don't know the Deadpool's shooting Wolverine in the sides right there, see
No.
right there, that is a very different picture when you look at it without the lower context.
Yeah. That is pretty bad. No, here, I'm gonna try and
It's even better.
No, look at the emblem on the car.
It's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Okay.
A lot of people are definitely like, this has got to be some Tony Stark car, but yes, there a couple of like the breakdowns. Some of the people got screen caps, and they were like crystal clear, high detail, and I could not find an image of it. I was just trying to find like a screen cap, this evening before the show, and this was the best one I could find. But yeah, it's Iron Man on the emblem there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was super cool. And sweep back out of there. Okay.
Perfect. I love it so much.
Okay, let me go back. Never a dull moment around here. So we get that. It's going so slow. Yes, we get a dog pool finally, which that is I'm sorry, a hideous dog.
It really is.
Did you really expect anything other than a hideous dog, though, for a dog pool?
I mean, it makes sense, but I'm just saying, dog pool though always has looked like a little like almost like a little like dachshund, I want to say, or like a miniature pinscher or something like that. And then yeah, we see Hulk's bed in the background from what planet was he on in Ragnarok? Sakaar.
Yeah.
I almost said Sokovia, but I'm like, that's a country. Yeah, seeing those two jump through the sling ring portal.
Yeah, that
was
I was
cool.
just like, I groaned. I was like, oh, okay, fine.
I mean, part of me goes, I'm like, is that just how portals are? There's people who think that they find a sling ring, which I hope they don't do that, because I'm like, that makes no sense. I'm kind of more just hoping that just appears and Deadpool's like, let's just jump into it.
Yeah. I don't know what they would go with that, because they surely wouldn't bring Doctor Strange in. They'd have to bring in somebody else.
I
guess you could always bring Wong.
Wong,
because he's the Sorcerer Supreme technically now.
Yeah, he's always fun. The whole ending though of wanting to build a snowman was pretty funny. Where he's like, Feige knows all the slang terms. We can't do it.
It is funny, but Joker and Iron Oxide kind of had, I think a couple other people on that stream had an interesting idea that this scene was shot specifically for the trailer and won't actually make it into the film.
Probably. I mean, that's definitely
it makes sense. Yeah.
A good take, but I did really enjoy Forrest
It
Gump.
is funny. It's great.
As a slang for for cocaine. So I was gonna say I haven't. I'm just gonna double check on the other one real quick. Oh, that one I can. Did I really miss anything there? That one I can just slide through. You know what? Everything we covered there, so no worries about that. There was one more Easter egg, and I don't ever remember hearing this being in the other films, but there's a John Candy Easter egg though in it, and
Really?
yeah,
I
I'm just gonna
didn't see it.
share that with you guys, and it's been in other Deadpool films though too. So that's why I said I'm like I don't remember hearing about this. Nor do I think I ever really paid attention to this from the actual John Candy film. But Wade is reading the same book that John Candy is reading in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the Canadian Mounted. So I think it's some kind of
Oh.
adult novel there.
All right.
Well.
I don't know what to contribute to that.
I know.
Well.
Well, you guys are both pretty speechless with that one, so my job here is done.
Just kind of a random Easter egg.
Yeah. When I was searching for Easter eggs, it was like John Candy Easter egg, and I was like, "Oh, cool! What's this?" And then I was like, "Oh, well, never mind then."
Who my?
I'm like, "Well, no, I got to share that tonight."
Apparently,
Of
it
course.
was a real book published in the 80s from a company that went out of business before the end of the decade.
I like how you're like, "I have to Google this. Hang on a sec."
Yeah, I had to find out if it's real.
Yeah, no, it's apparently a real book. Beard's like, let me put this in my Amazon cart.
But I have to make sure it's not the new one, which is the Canadian Mounted Trivia Guide to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's not the correct one.
Oh, okay. I still think I would want to read that version. Now, a big question is going to be, I think, too, with Deadpool and Wolverine is this going to lead to anything in the main MCU, or is this going to be a one-off?
With the other MCU stuff they're putting in there, I think that Feige is trying to connect this with the greater MCU in the same way that Loki is kind of backdooring all of the other Marvel things. I think this is going to be another backdoor.
Yeah, I think the question is whether how heavy it is or not. I feel like if it's, I mean, and there's going to be a lot going on, so it's like part of me goes like, I feel like if it's on the minor side, it'll probably be better. I feel like if it's very heavy, it might be tough for everybody because
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people are following what's going on in the current MCU right now.
They gave themselves an out with the TVA. Now they can say that anything happening in any universe is connected to the main MCU movie universe and can influence stories even. I mean, in some way, that gives them the leeway to do what I think they should have been doing for a while, is just do standalone movies that exist in their own universe. They don't need to be tied in. And then later down the road, if you want to kind of like create a new thing and bring those actors over to replay those roles to kind of do their own thing in that solo thing, because that's how comics are. You've got the Thor comic that is kind of its own thing. You've got Captain America, his own thing, and you've got the Avengers, and those stories will sometimes weave in. They don't always need to always be part of the same universe. They don't need to be part of the same story. They don't always need to be part of the same fighting the same big bad. And if they did these movies more like how comics do, and to be fair, comics do get really convoluted sometimes. So even simplify even more. I think it would be more successful. But from what we're getting out of this, I think we're going to get loose tie-ins that's going to try to make people think that this is the next big thing, and they're going to try to bring in some money to temporarily revitalize the MCU. But I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. I don't think Deadpool is going to have a long-term effect unless they use this as some way to introduce the X-Men proper. Like they bring in the new X-Men or whatever. since they're already hopping realities.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a weird to kind of shoehorn that at the end. But
Mhm.
unless they do that, this is just going to be a kind of its own little thing in the corner. It's kind of like me at a party. I'm over here by myself. I don't really want to have anything to do with y'all. I'm here out of an obligation. That's kind of how I see this movie.
Well, I mean, like in order to bring in the quote unquote the X-Men proper, I think that this is their way of bringing in Wolverine, because you can't really have Wolverine without, you can't have the X-Men without Wolverine, in my opinion.
Right.
So I feel like that's how, like, one of the ways they're going to try and bring in the X-Men is through this movie with Wolverine.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do another. They're probably going to introduce, like, in one of those many universes of Wolverine, like a new Wolverine actor, and then that's kind of their foreshadowing of this is going to be the new actual Wolverine.
You know, I will mention that in the teaser, if you guys remember, we do get a glimpse of Patch Wolverine in a casino. So, and it doesn't look like it's Hugh Jackman playing that. So,
yeah, the rumors are that's Daniel Radcliffe.
I mean, I for one, I know a lot of people have it's a big rumor / like hope going around on the Wolverine fandom. Like, I think Daniel Radcliffe could play a good Wolverine. I think he could be a pretty good Logan.
I mean, at the very least, I think we're going to see 2, maybe 3 alternate universe different castings for Wolverine. Even if it's just a one-off scene, like where maybe Deadpool is trying to find the proper Wolverine, and they like the TVA sends him to the wrong branch of the timeline or something.
You're not the one I'm looking for. Go away.
I was gonna say the only thing about, because I mean, there's a lot of good actors out there, and I think a lot of people, right, if they really work hard at it, they can put themselves into a character's shoes. The only one thing about where I'm like Daniel Radcliffe, where I don't see him, is he's got such that baby voice.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like his one fault where I'm just like, I just don't know if I could buy him as Wolverine. I get what you're saying, especially that one picture where he is kind of like all jacked in his underwear,
right?
Screaming. It's like, yeah, you know what? You know, he looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, but the gravelly voice is part of the character with Wolverine. So that is something that's kind of hard to bypass if you're going to cast certain people.
You can get a vocal coach that can help you with that.
That's very true.
It's true.
That is very true too. But I'm just saying, currently, that's probably the one thing where I that is like one weakness where I would see it being tough for him. But you're very right on that.
Straining your voice to go outside of kind of your normal tone is murder on your vocal cords. I mean, just ask Andy Serkis in all the times he played Gollum, because you hear his normal speaking voice. It's like, oh, that's like a British Wolverine voice. That's a gravelly, you get something done. And then he did that Gollum voice, and he had to gargle that Gollum juice that he mixed up just to keep his throat from falling out.
And my other question too is, what do you think is going to happen to Hugh Jackman Wolverine? Mando.
I wouldn't be. They in the teaser trailer, they did do a shot of the last of of the Logan movie, right, where he's in the grave and he, like, with the X. I feel like they're probably gonna call back to that, or he's just gonna do what towards the end of the Old Man Logan comics, where he's not where he's supposed to be, and he just kind of walks into the sunset.
Well, in Old Man Logan, he
got covered in liquid antimantium and got encased in it. Yeah.
No. That's different. No. Old Man Logan, he gets a new sidekick, and he works on creating a new team to essentially right the wrong that he did and save the world again.
I thought I saw
it's
an
villains
panel.
He didn't get covered in adamantium, and that happened when he died a couple years back. Right. He died. That might have been, was that Origins 2 or something like that? Maybe that's where I'm getting confused, because could have swore that was in the Old Man Logan comics that I read.
it might have been kind of a spin-off of that, because that was the period of time where Marvel was handing off the mantle to a lot of newer, younger characters. That's when like Laura, whatever X-23, whatever, took over the mantle of Wolverine. Yeah,
for a little while, yeah.
And I do actually think that, because there have been some rumors out there that the actress that played Laura is coming back from Logan, is coming back for this, and will be there kind of to do kind of the same thing in that she did in Logan, is like say goodbye as Hugh Jackman dies again. But that's just a rumor at the moment.
Is that what you think is going to happen here?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It wouldn't surprise me. Because I know out of all of the possible Wolverine, I guess, people to take the mantle, X-23 was the most popular. I agree. Yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting, since they're already hopping timelines and realities and such, if they find themselves in the Logan universe, and Laura, as an older person, has to see her surrogate father die again. I mean, and that was a touching scene at the end of Logan. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to that well again, because it's kind of an easy get.
That seems like an odd thing, because that's a different version of it.
Well, I know, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, part of me goes, because again, it is a Marvel film, and it is Disney Marvel. There's part of me that goes, he either gets placed in a timeline that he's either back to everybody being alive, or he ends up being able to save Wade's, in the sense of he got to at least do what he wasn't able to do in his own timeline, but dies.
Well, yeah. See, that's what I'm thinking, is that he's going to find redemption in saving somebody else, because he can't go back and undo what has happened in his timeline. Because if they do that, that is the cheap way out, and I hate it. Because you can't have a tragic hero that gets everything they want at the end. That's not a tragic hero.
Well, but I'm saying, by like, if it's a happy ending, he ends up in a timeline where he died himself, and he replaces that one, and he gets to save. Right, he saves the X-Men in that version. That's what I'm guessing. There would be that, or he dies helping Wade with his, and just to pass the mantle off. But I hope for the next Wolverine, it is not X-23.
I mean, most people won't, but as far as people who could possibly take the mantle, she's the most likely. Like if you're gonna not be Wolverine, like, but be like a different Wolverine, X-23. Like, if they don't get Daniel Radcliffe or another person to play Wolverine himself, probably gonna do X-23.
Yeah. I feel like if they do that, they will, every positive step that they've taken forward with this film, they will take major steps backwards. You know, that's the one. That's what it is.
X-23 isn't popular enough to hold the X-Men, like, at all. Like, she is not popular enough to hold a normie's attention.
Yeah. No, Jacob's absolutely right.
It will fit right in with the MCU, abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, to bring up a brighter note, we kind of spent more time on this when I was planning, because we've got gaming news coming up soon, but there is a kind of a nice reminiscent anniversary that's come up, but kind of this weekend is this week is the 6th and 5th anniversary of Infinity War and Endgame. And I don't know about you guys, but do you remember when these films came out? When those trailers dropped?
I remember the last time that I truly 100% enjoyed Disney Marvel.
I actually that was the last I think, besides the Spider-Man movie, that was Endgame, or Infinity War was the last Marvel movie I watched in theaters.
Yeah, these
Yep.
were the last two that I watched in theaters.
I've seen the last two Spider-Man films in theaters. I mean, I did see stuff afterwards, but no, I mean, these were just such big events. I mean, I remember getting because they even showed it really like the day before the film was technically released, and even the movie theaters, at least where I was at, like they were showing stuff as early as like 5 p.m. instead of like midnight like they used to do, and I remember getting tickets. Me and my wife went, and then I think even too it was like the next day. I think we saw them both again, or at least like on like
like how
Sunday we did.
I like how the promo for Endgame has a much better looking Thor than what we actually got.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a really good point. We go from Pirate Thor to not Pirate Thor. We technically, well, no. That's the beginning of Infinity War. I'm like, don't we have that skinny Thor at the beginning of
No,
Endgame? But
No,
no,
in Endgame, you've got the
Endgame
dude.
is all
we've got melted ice
Endgame
cream
is
Thor.
all Fat Man Thor. Yep.
Well, that's fan art right there. Somebody took the two posters and actually
Okay.
connected them together and did a phenomenal job. I was just looking for the posters. I saw that and I was like, wow. I'm like, I would buy that. Like if they sold that poster, I'm like that
So
looks great.
like Fat Thor, of all the things in that last in Endgame, one of my favorite points is when they travel back to Asgard. He's talking to his mom again, and he puts his hand out to call Mjolnir, and and Chris Hemsworth did a great job with it, and that look on his face of just like glee and relief when he realizes that he's still worthy, because he's spent all this time since the snap just beating himself up, thinking he's lost the mantle of Thor, and just that little bit right there is just fantastic. And all the other ridiculousness that happens in the movie, the over the top unnecessary girl power scene at the end that just is cringe. All of I could ignore all of the other parts of that movie and just watch that scene, and I'm totally okay with everything else.
I would feel almost the same. My whole thing, and I complained about it for years after the Endgame, was Bucky was supposed to get the shield, and you just completely demolished like that moment when Bucky did not get the shield was my like super awakening of, oh, the rest of this is gonna be garbage.
I'm not gonna lie, JT's gonna smack me for this, but at the end there now I watch that and I'm like, Captain America turned into Joe Biden.
It does look like it.
Yup.
But I agree. Bucky absolutely deserved the shield.
Yeah.
Well, he had earned it. But I also recognize that they were kind of bringing in a little bit of the Ultimates comics in, where you had like Falcon taking over the mantle, and then Bucky was still there, and Steve Rogers was just old, and things like that. So I could see they were bringing a little bit of influence in from that.
I was gonna say too, the cringe A4 scene, I also felt was such a slap in the face, because I'm like, the one person though that should be there leading all those people, who deserves to be, is dead. Black Widow. Yeah. On top of it too, like
I mean, she was honestly one of the most badass characters of the entire team, because she was more normal than even her and Hawkeye get the shit into the stick, but they're normal people that have just honed abilities. And yeah, she had her backstory, which she went through the Red Room and was trained and everything like this. But at their core, they are just people. They don't have superpowers. They don't have armor.
What was funny is when I was looking up stuff about this, there was somebody who was like, they're like, yeah, Infinity War is a perfect movie, except they're like, I'll never not crack up at the scene where Vision and Wanda get their ass handed to them until 3 humans show up.
Right.
I was like, that's such a good point. That's such a good point. Side note, though, David, Jacob Ironside says, did you all hear Deadpool and Wolverine got delayed due to reshoots? We were talking about that when JV was on, and JV said he has heard nothing about.
Well, he did specifically say major reshoots. All movies
Yeah.
have reshoots, but
Yeah.
he said he hadn't heard anything about major reshoots.
Mm-hmm.
And delayed due to reshoots too could be something related to actors scheduling, things like that. I mean, when you've got
Right.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, who probably do have fairly busy schedules with their lives, who knows? I just, as we're talking to, I grabbed the teaser posters. I love those.
Oh yeah.
Those are phenomenal. And then, of course,
man, I need to go back and watch the MCU movies back when they were good.
Yeah, though,
Right.
like the original Avengers poster looks very photoshopped at this point. I mean, I remember seeing that thinking that's what that looked, but like it just looks like everybody's been photoshopped in there from like an entirely different picture.
It is a weird kind of composition there.
Yeah.
Even just like looking kind of photoshopped aside, it kind of, I mean, the eye kind of goes to Tony Stark, obviously, because he's got the shiny hand, but then Thor, and then everybody else is kind of like an afterthought.
It is. I mean, because at least like Age of Ultron, everybody looks like they're genuinely in the same place in the same time. We're like,
except for maybe Hawkeye.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in general, that's a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah. I do like the more stylized Infinity War Endgame posters, though.
Yeah, but now it is so funny now how often we see that orange and that purple in posters that just copy that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that kind of like background color and then almost the hand painted look of all the different actors that's been around for so long. I mean, there's that guy that did the 20th anniversary Star Wars re-release posters that kind of had that sort of same kind of color theme. There's one main color and then everything's kind of painted over it. And I don't mind it because I really like that style.
No, I mean, I like the style too. I'm just saying those color hues. It seems like so many posters are either that reddish orange like that or that like cosmic purple. I feel like. And I did have one other shot where I was just like, again, I'm like, Marvel like has so many things I feel like that they could do with so many characters that they own, and it's like some of these covers are just so iconic. I'm like, oh god, I would kill to see any one of these come to life.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
what are the chances we see Wolverine in the what are the chances we see Wolverine in the brown costume in the movie?
Bro, if they do that, I don't care how bad the movie is. I'm going to be like, they have brown Wolverine. I don't care. They've got me.
I was going to say, if Deadpool makes a diarrhea joke, that'll be hilarious. But right, to see Wolverine fight the Hulk. And I've got that comic book too. I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna have to go get it graded. I see. Is that a reprint or is that? Oh, okay.
It's a 10, but
I think I've seen that before. Yeah. But I mean,
first time we actually get Wolverine is when he's against Hulk.
And part of me goes the fact that like hey, Chris Hemsworth wants to take a break, or it's like you could do Beta Ray Bill, you know. And to see Thor fight Silver Surfer, even if we saw Beta Ray Bill fight Silver Surfer, Secret Wars, I know that that's not the Fantastic Four we're going to get up in that corner, but still, I can still dream. And then same thing, like this X-Men right down here. I mean, to me, I go, like, if they were to, outside of having the X-Men and the stone in the background, but, right, to recreate this cover in a scene, how epic would that be to see?
It'd be really epic, but they would never let Psylocke show off that much thigh.
Nope.
Well, unless Sony was making the film.
Right.
Well, we're going to get into Sony in a little bit.
So I'm going to hand over the rest of the show to Beard here.
Oh, all right. You're not going to play my intro for the video game news? JT he'll have your head.
Oh, we do have that.
Yay, video games.
This is why JT needs to be here. He knows what everything that's going on. I don't know what buttons I'm pushing.
All right, before I bring up my window with all my stuff, Stellar Blade. It's been controversial since it's been announced. You've got one side people saying that, it's made by people who just want to see hot women, and or people who've never actually looked at it. The insults get weird because it's a Korean game and the main character is a hot woman. And honestly, if we're going to play a third player perspective game, be it man or woman, wouldn't you want the person that you're going to be staring at for potentially 40 hours to be at least kind of good looking and not a repulsive?
A little bit.
Yeah.
At least appeasing to the eyes.
Yes. And especially if you know a lot of Korean or Japanese games, that they tend to go for the pinnacle of what they consider for beauty, which is something the West has seemed to have lost. But the main controversy that caught my eye this week is hard R. And I nearly mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Wolverine and DeadPool being a hard R. But the main thing with this is that the developer Shift Up from the beginning said, let's see if it's in this. Stellar Blade offers the same uncensored version in all countries, including the Japanese version. They promised from the beginning, uncensored. This is a PlayStation exclusive right now. If you get the disc, it is uncensored. If you're disconnected from the internet, but the moment you connect to the internet, it is patched, and things are now censored, including the hard R. You see right here, this is just graffiti. This says hard. And over here you have R Shop, which is apparently a character named Roxanne who runs a shop. That's where you go get your upgrades and things like that. But people, the internet, took this as hard R as in instead of A at the end of a specific word and made it racist. Really? That is a reach right there. So Stellar Blade patched it out. And now it says Crimer, which Hypnotic posted on Twitter is technically a slang term for black people who commit crimes. So they actually took something that wasn't actually even remotely racist and accidentally made it slightly racist.
That's
Isn't
amazing.
that how it always goes?
Yeah. So this is what caught my eye this week, and I thought, this is gonna be a little throwaway thing, maybe because I also had a Helldivers news thing. I was like, I might need two of them to kind of fill the time out. But then I started kind of looking a little bit more into it because this has been going on for a while with Stellar Blade regarding censorship. So on X here, you've got Grums, Mark Kern. He was a CEO and designer, a former team lead for the old World of Warcraft, and a producer on Diablo 2 and StarCraft. And this is the guy who's been leading the charge regarding censorship around this. And Mando, being our female perspective on here, feel free to jump in any time. I welcome your input because most of the things that people are complaining about is that this game was advertised with a ton of outfits like you get with a lot of Japanese games or Asian games, because this is Korean. And they are, let me see here. I got one of these. They are, see if I can pull this up. This is over here on the left is what was advertised. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is what's been patched for the West only. And people are, as Grums points out, let me see if I can, it's not about a few inches of fabric. It's about the double standard in gaming where Western studios get a pass on full frontal nudity, bare sex. That's, I forget which game that is.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. And constantly shoving DEI on our faces, while Korean and Japanese games get the censorship boot. I mean, down here is just a couple of things that are lightly censored that are Western games. It's totally fine. But we can't show just a little bit of cleavage right there. That's a problem. And so, yeah, a lot of people are saying, you just want to look at boobs or whatever. It's like, there are websites for that if that's what you really want.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. If you yeah, I personally have never had a problem. This is going to be weird. I've never had a problem with like female besides some of the boob armor is a little it doesn't make sense in my opinion. But like as far as feminine like figure or male figure, like it's a fantasy. It's fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
look, if I'm going to play a male character in a video game, yeah, he needs to have a beard.
Jacked.
He needs to have a beard. But do I want him to be a slightly overweight, dumpy 40-year-old guy that can't grow any hair on top of his head like me? No, I don't need to see myself in game. I see myself in the mirror every day. It is disappointing. I want to see something awesome.
Well, like there are times like there are games that I play where I play as a dude and he's like super jacked, muscular, looking awesome, and it's just like that's not me at all.
Well, I was even gonna say too, like the last kind of round of the Tomb Raider games that were on like Xbox. I'm trying to think who did those. I loved playing those games. I was never like, I wish I could see myself here instead of Lara Croft. I'm like,
yeah, especially in a third-person game, I've seen my own ass. It's nothing to write home about. I want to see something that looks better than that.
Yeah, I don't understand why so many women like sexism in gaming. I'm like, it's fantasy. Be whatever you want. You can have a dude that you could like, as far as the female perspective, you can have a dude looking like he's Adonis that you can stare at all day if you want.
Exactly.
That's sexism too. That is literal objectification of a man.
Yeah, so Undead Rat 77 on X said, with all this talk about women empowerment these days, why are we so adamant about covering up good-looking bodies? Like, I thought y'all wanted to be represented as powerful and sexy, just like how they always make males super jacked, sexy, and cool.
Exactly.
Hey, I just want to say Undead Rat 77 is way better than the other 76 Undead Rats on Twitter.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know Undead Rat. I'm just pulling from other like things that I've seen. Just for the record, if I go down this person's post and it gets weird, not my fault. But yeah, it's weird because now the fault seems to be on Sony. At least that's what people are putting it on. And
I wouldn't be surprised.
And Shift Up, the developer for this game, has come out and said that these changes in the patch were always intentional. But if you think about it, they have to say that. Because if they don't, absolutely. Then they admit to advertising something that they didn't give you.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Like it's one of those like it's all of the legal jargon they have to do.
Right.
When you blatantly do something like this, you have to make sure that you are doing your proper legal terms.
What I think's funny too is, see, I look at this and I just go, okay, why don't you just make a option where you can have the version you want, or you can turn on an option and call it the modest option. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like as far as the game dev, like the game devs would probably be difficult to make that a button. Granted, I don't know a whole awful lot about game development and stuff.
Or offer, right? I mean, okay. I mean, it's like in this day and age, who does not have internet access, right? I mean, who does not have some form of internet access? And especially, too, if you're playing games. Even if you don't do any, like, I don't play a ton of stuff online necessarily, but, right, I do updates for my games, and I'll download, DLC. Or make a free DLC that will change that. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, here's what we've got in the game. If you're not a fan of that, for free, you can download this patch and it'll take care of all that for you. And you can get the version that makes you more happy. Like, why not make that option?
Yeah. That would be doable.
I mean, this is going to sound like I'm defending because it's actually true, but no, I do not, absolutely do not enjoy playing like visual novel games. If I'm going to read a novel, I'm going to go read a novel. They get on my nerves. But even I know that a lot of those come over from like Japan and such have optional patches that you can install to get the spicy content. So other games are doing this kind of thing where if you want the extra stuff, it's there. You don't have to. And yeah, actually integrating a whole nother option in the menu probably involves a lot more coding than we expect. But again, just add an option. Just, do you want to get the spicy content? Download this thing.
I mean,
and
the
it
other
would
thing
be
too,
so easy for them to undo it and avoid this PR nightmare.
I mean, this is not a game for kids either, too. So I mean, I
No.
also go like, I don't get the rhyme or reason. Then again, I was gonna say, I'm sure you've got some good stories at GameStop where, like, I've heard of people saying like, parents took their kids in, the kid wanted to get Grand Theft Auto, and the parents were like, no, you can't play that game, it's terrible, and buy him a copy of Call of Duty, which it's just
More often it was people who could come in and say, I want Grand Theft Auto for my kid, and go, all right, you know, this is rated mature, right? What does that mean? Well, let me tell you. And then you just, as I'm describing it, you see mom go,
yeah.
it's like, we're going to talk in the car.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the other funny thing about this too, where it's like, this is clearly an adult game.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to have an M-rated game, you know, it's already rated that. It's fine. Now, if parents are buying this for the kid, that's their parenting decisions or lack of knowledge, one of the two. But I mean, just in general, people are, this guy, I don't know if I have it. He's been, oh yeah, he's been getting death threats over this.
Yeah, I did see that.
20,000 to anyone who makes this dipshit disappear. And he said, I've had 4 to 5 calls for violence today alone because I'm asking for Stellar Blade to be restored to what was advertised. This is where we are.
People are psycho. People are just I know people are like, the internet brings out the worst in people. I disagree. I think what the internet does is it just shows you the depravity of humanity. Humanity
it shows you who they really are.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like when you get like 2 or 3.
It tells you who they really are.
Yeah, it's like when you get 2 drinks into somebody. It's like, oh, I thought you were my buddy, but no, you're really an awful person.
Yep.
But a lot of people also giving Grum's crap, saying that this is useless and he's wasting his time. But I mean, as he says, he was the one who led the charge to bring the WoW Classic option back. He got a ton of petitions, or a bunch of signatures on a petition, and actually was kind of the reason that's even an option today for people to play with that. Now, as he said in a different
What's the WoW
post,
Classic?
Oh, it's actually like old World of Warcraft before they started, like, there's a certain cutoff with like the updates where things started changing, mechanics started changing. And a lot of the classic players kind of fell off, and they just said, we don't like this, isn't our game anymore. And they wanted to kind of have that retro option. So even like the retro graphics and things like that. So that's the WoW Classic.
Yeah, and then RuneScape actually did did a similar thing where it's like you have RuneScape and then you have old school RuneScape. It's almost 2 separate games.
Yeah, because after a certain amount of updates and things, the gameplay itself just starts changing. And there's certain people who have a nostalgia for the original, and he was one of the guys that even had Blizzard bring that back to be an option. So the guy knows his stuff. He's got pull. And apparently in Asia, he said the online petitions have very little weight. So what he's planning to do is, once they get all the signatures they need online, they're going to print them out and bring a box full of that printout to the Shift Up offices in Korea, and just deliver them as physical manifestations of people who want this game to be, as promised, uncensored for everybody.
Because it'd be one thing if they were just like, If they didn't even say anything about uncensored, if that wasn't even at all in the marketing, it wouldn't be an issue. Well, it still
Right.
might be, but it wouldn't be as big of an issue if they had just kept their mouth shut, said, "Hey, here's our game. Here you go," and just didn't say anything about censoring or uncensoring.
Right. And like I said, the fault, or people were pointing the finger at Sony, and I think that's probably accurate.
I was going to
And
say,
granted,
you may not want to scroll down on this image, though.
I'm going to scroll very briefly because, granted, this is PlayStation UK, not US. But PlayStation is also like, you can't have these cute outfits, but, and I say but, boop, they put out a dude's butt on their own timeline because dude nudity is okay. Female cleavage, God hates that. I know that you just summed it up right there, Mando. Ugh.
Well, it reminds me of purity culture, to be quite honest, where it's like, oh, as a woman, you shouldn't show any skin because men cannot control their eyes. What?
Yep. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's a complete contradiction between the, all women are beautiful except for the hot ones. We need to cover them up. So anyway, that's really all I got there. It is easy for people to boil this down to, you just want to look at boobs. There are, if the game is on PC, there are mods for that. If you don't have the game on PC, there's a hub for that.
Yes.
I mean, if that's all you want, it is out there and you can get it. This is more about just putting our foot down and pointing out hypocritical censorship where other games are allowed to put really weird stuff on screen, completely uncensored, but this girl has to cover up her cleavage. So that's where I'll leave it. The end.
I'm going to go look at Mrs. R2's
I'm surprised you
boobs
didn't
after
talk about the Pokemon Go controversy along with this, because it's something very similar.
I totally forgot about that.
What's that? I don't play Pokemon Go, so
they're basically removing gender, and like you only have like one character body type, and it's kind of like this amorphous, not male, not female, and it's getting pushed back from all sides because people like trans
they took out
women,
the sexy.
Yeah, trans women, biological men, would play as a female character because that's how they felt, quote unquote, seen. But now that's removed, and at least from a couple posts I've seen, that's screwing up their body dysmorphia, and they can't play the game anymore because they get depressed and they like get in their head and. So
well, also, like, it's one of those, the graphics, like, itself just look terrible. It's like they went from PlayStation 5 to PlayStation 2 graphics in an update.
Oh. I hadn't seen that.
Just the avatar. Oh, it's bad. If you, I think I talked about it a while ago, but there was if you go on Twitter and look up Dr. Rachel, I think she has a side-by-side. Let me try and find it.
Even Kotaku is like, Pokemon Go's new character creator is out and everyone hates it. New avatar. Hang on. The new avatars have weird eyes, androgynous bodies, and a horrible case of bow legs.
Wait. Is Nintendo making Pokemon Go, or is that being made by
Niantic? Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, I'm kind of surprised by this because like Nintendo don't get into any of this stuff.
In the Twitter message, I sent the side by side that Dr. Rachel did, where it was her before avatar and then the update avatar, and you can see just the horrendous graphics. Like, I play Pokemon Go, or periodically.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Okay, let me bring that up. Yeah, that's just like, it's not even just like body shape. It feels lower poly.
Well,
look at her arms.
Yeah, like the wrists.
Also, for this is probably a little too much or TMI, but if you certain pants, you can see the camel toe on the new update.
Oh, okay.
That is weird to go bulk your arms with thin shoulders.
Well,
that is
even like but technically like the legs and like the feet bulk up too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
and
also
if you
think,
look at the Pokemon in the background,
Yeah.
the Pokemon graphics are the same.
well, I was gonna say I think it's funny where like the wings are up, where it's like thumbs up, and then the wings are down, like thumbs down.
it's a downgrade.
Yeah. Upgrade, downgrade.
Wow. Yeah, just in general, it does look like it's a lower poly. The shading seems off on the hair and the face.
Like
Yeah.
she didn't get any new clothing. No, like she didn't do anything. This is just the update. And like they changed the belt even. Like, yeah.
Well, it's an interesting choice. What's that line from what, Dodgeball? It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it plays out for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's gonna play out right now.
All right. Well, that's all I got.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I think this is also a lot of proof of why we're starting to see a lot more people talking about playing older games. I don't know about you guys, but even like right now, like I'm playing like Far Cry 2 all over again. I was like, I haven't played this game in forever. I'm like, there's nothing new I want to play, and I don't have a PS5 or a gaming computer, so I can't play Helldivers with you and Matt Vader. So I was like, what do I got? And I'm like, I'm gonna play this. I'm like, maybe next I'll play Batman, Arkham Asylum again, because that's such a great series. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who are playing such older games now because
I mean, I play Star Wars: The Old Republic. I've played it for years and years, and
Yeah.
like you won't change my mind. That's my Star Wars. This Disney stuff, nah.
No, I mean that those two games are phenomenal, and the fact that we didn't get a third one, I was like, ugh.
Well, she's talking about the MMO.
Oh, you're talking about the MMO?
I'm talking about the MMO.
Oh,
but I have played.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's
see.
KOTOR. SWOTOR, KOTOR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the cutscenes alone on SWOTOR is better Star Wars storytelling than Disney has given us ever. And they can do it without dialogue.
But I mean, to me, like those games are such like a precursor to Mass Effect, and I love I love playing Mass Effect as much as like the gameplay of the third one is great up until the end. I'm like, and then it's one of the few games where I'm just like, I wanted to throw my controller like out the window.
Well, if you just accept the theory that Shepard from the beginning has been indoctrinated and you're not actually playing the story, but playing a story in his mind, then it makes a lot more sense.
Gotcha. It was very much, I just felt like the ending, it was like the Matrix. It's like how the Matrix ended to me.
Well, they wrote themselves into a corner. They put out too many options. If they actually made all your choices matter, it would have been a nightmare to code like 20 different endings. And so they did it to themselves.
I still feel like the options that they gave, I was just like, it was like, do you want 10 pounds of crap or do you want 20 pounds of crap?
I'll take the middle option.
That is pretty much okay, you get 15 pounds of it.
But it's shiny.
It's just, it's like, I'm just going to turn off my machine. That's what I want to do. But I just, I mean, like, just looking back at older games, it's like, that's how I feel. I'm like, I'm fine with playing those. Yeah. I'm like, I don't have to buy anything new. And to me, like, the only company that's putting out anything new where I'm like, oh, you know what, I'd want to play it, it's Nintendo. I mean, like, even, I mean, almost on a weekly basis to go run, when, we do our grocery shopping, the family, we go to, Super Walmart, and me and the kid go look at the video game section. And a recent business trip I had to go on, there was a big regional conference, and I was like this close. I almost won a PS5, And I was like, how cool. I'm like, if I had won that and brought that home to the kid, he would have thought that was like, this is what happens when you go on a business trip. Go on more of them.
What are you doing here?
Right?
Go.
Yeah. He was
Go
so
away.
sad I was going to be gone for 3 days. And I'm like, oh man, if I win this, he's gonna want me to leave more often. But I remember though,
little Spidey's awesome.
I remember that weekend though, like I went and I looked at, I was like, what's even on PlayStation 5? And I was like, I don't see anything here that I would have spent my money on. And same thing, I look at like Xbox. I mean, now all the Xbox games are exclusive for just the new system. They're no longer the backwards compatible ones, which kind of sucks. But I'm like, I see that and I'm like, I don't see anything here that I'm missing out on at all. The only thing where I'm ever like, like, let's get that game. Let's play that game. Let's do that. I'm like, it's Nintendo. Nintendo has the only thing where that draws any attention to me. Yeah. And I think it's the one thing that isn't it dominating. I mean, because I want to say for the most part.
Yeah, right now, they're number one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it just seems like PlayStation will do decent for a while with some game, and then Xbox will be failing, and then Xbox will have something that they're doing decent on, and PlayStation will start failing. I mean, I see like the people go back and forth. And,
if you stick specifically to console stuff, yes, but even PlayStation has started releasing stuff on PC, and I think that's where they're actually getting a lot of their income. Same with Xbox and Microsoft, is it's actually a lot of the PC players that are kind of keeping them afloat, and we're seeing some crossover. So there have been a couple of Xbox games that have made its way, like, because Microsoft owns Bethesda, and so they put like Skyrim on the Switch. There's been a couple of Xbox games that have crossed over to other platforms. And there's actually talk about Sony starting to do that as well, specifically with the hit that is Helldivers. That was the other video game news that I was going to touch on. Is there's a rumor that there's at least been talks on potentially, this is very early, so this is like a maybe, talks on letting Helldivers, which is technically a Sony property, be released on other consoles such as Xbox to kind of increase their player base and increase their revenue.
Well, I was going to say like Game Pass. I know like you can play on your PC, and I know quite a few people who don't own an Xbox, but they have Game Pass and they play the games on the PC. So it does make sense. But even then too, I mean, they do put new games on those types of subscriptions. But I know there's a lot of old games, and I know a lot of people, even when I used to have Game Pass, everybody would play like maybe that one big new game that everybody wants to play, and then everybody else was like, I'm playing old stuff when I'm not playing that other game.
I had Game Pass for a little bit and only used it for Forza and Halo.
Yeah. I still have Game Pass, and I use it for Sea of Thieves, sometimes Minecraft, and just a couple other random games. I didn't realize that the Assassin's Creed games were also on Game Pass, so I'm gonna probably try and play those.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say those were fun, but same thing, like that kind of had. I was gonna say like when like all the characters in the real world like died. it's like why have I been spending all this time playing these games when you're just gonna kill them off like that?
Yeah. Sea of Thieves.
Throw my controller out the window. I was gonna say I haven't played Sea of Thieves, but I play Sid Meier's Pirates every now and then. I love that game.
Sea of Thieves is so much fun, in my opinion.
It's been a while since I've played it. I need to get back into it.
If I actually though bought that and downloaded it, or maybe I got it cheap.
I think it's about to be cross-platform between like PC, Xbox, and PlayStation soon.
I don't know. I might have to check that out. Well, very cool. Well, I think that's about it for topics to cover tonight. Mando, it's been a blast having you on. Thank you so much for coming back.
It was fun being here.
Glad you had a good time. I was gonna say, you have anything special coming up on your channel?
Nothing specific right now that I can think of. Yeah, just keep an eye on my socials and stuff. That's where you'll know if I'm gonna be doing any different streams. I think this next Tuesday I'm gonna be on Gord King's channel I was supposed to be on earlier this month, but I spent the night in jail, so did not happen.
Okay, you got to tell me
Nope.
that story in the back room
I will.
after the show.
It involves a squeak a mouse, and yeah, it's definitely not family friendly.
Oh, we're blaming her. I see.
But yeah, I will definitely tell you the story. But yeah, I missed the last time I was supposed to be on
was gonna
Gord
say,
King's channel
you
because
know,
I spent the night in jail.
That's not how you get to babysit little Spidey, by the way. He's got a babysitter that spent jail time.
It was a ticket, like a ticket that I forgot about. Like that is, yeah. Don't forget your tickets.
All right, that's it. R2, the Ren Fair thing, that's not happening now.
Yeah. Convicted criminal, Untamed Mando.
I mean, my friends still let me babysit their kids and nothing bad's happened.
I was gonna say, or maybe we should call you Jailbird Mando.
Hey, I think somebody has already called me.
Squeaka's
Mando.
mouse ears just perked up.
Yeah, she's gonna pop back in.
Wherever she is.
Well, I in the chat there, I threw where they could find your YouTube channel and also your link tree for everything Untamed Mando, aka Jailbird Mando.
Yep.
And Beard, how about you? Where you are the Troy McClure of YouTube?
Yes. I'm also going to be with Gord King on Tuesday. I didn't know Mando was going to be there, so we'll be there for was it the Phantom Menace? I think
You guys are always on Jacob Ironside's channel together. You guys are always on Roman's channel together.
Yes.
It's only fitting you guys would be on Gord King together.
I had to tell Gord I totally forgot about that, and I had to message Jake. I'm like, hey, so you gonna be good because I totally forgot about this. He's like, yeah, it's fine. So I'll be there on Tuesday. Wednesday, I think it's this Wednesday. I'm going to be featured with Miss Martin Muses for Pub Crawl, which is nerve-wracking for me because I don't think I've led an interesting life, and I have to spend like an hour like talking about myself, and I don't really talk about myself.
It's super easy.
Oh.
Teresa's super easy to talk to. I've been on her pub crawl.
Do I need to message Teresa and be like, ask him about?
No. I've already chosen my topic. It's going to be mostly so I can shout out R2, JT, and all the other great YouTube people who have driven me to keep doing this. So mostly I think we're going to talk about kind of like my stumbling into doing live streaming on YouTube and how it's gone over this past year. So I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Still nervous. But anyway, I think that's mostly what I've got coming up. There's probably something else. People can always follow me on Twix at Beard of Liberty because if something pops up, I'll post it there.
Very good. We also, you and I, we will be without JT on Monday. Do you want to share with them what we're doing on After the Weekend?
I can't believe I forgot that. See, that's just like a normal part to me. That's not like a special event. Yeah, it is my pick. So we'll be going over the final countdown. What happens when a modern aircraft carrier goes back to just before Pearl Harbor?
It stars Martin Sheen and
Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas, yes.
Yeah.
I almost said Lloyd Bridges, but I'm like, it's not that guy. That's Hot Shot.
That is no.
Yeah. Kirk Douglas. So yeah, we'll be watching that on Monday. I got to watch that tomorrow, so that'll be my first time viewing this. So I'm excited. I feel like it's rare I get to watch something I hadn't seen before. So
yeah,
I don't know how you picked this film.
It was actually JT's fault on one of his shows about time slipping. It made me think of this. Anyway.
Gotcha. All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you again to our guest, Untamed Mando. We are After the Weekend. This is Weekend Harder. We will see you again 2 weeks from now. And we'll see you on Monday night. Bye.
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the palace, backflip gainer into the trash.
This is it. Nick, big stuff. Just relax and have fun. We're just gonna have fun with it.
Talking away. I don't know what to say. I'll say it anyway.
I'm lucky.
Today's another day to find you.